Welcome to The Clown is Down, where you can get mad at us for our opinions. This is Keith.
And I'm Pete.
And in each episode, we will be bringing out our innermost feelings about a wide variety of subjects, from action figures to crosswalks,
Movies to beluga whales.
so sit back and give us a listen.
Remember, we're doing this for you.
Double remember, it's just an opinion. Hey, welcome to The Clown is Down. This is Keith,
And this is Pete.
and we're coming to you with another episode. Today, I think we're going to be talking about
Sidekicks.
sidekicks. Yes, we'll be talking about sidekicks.
And some henchmen.
So sidekicks. So
Yeah, all right.
I did a little bit of research on it.
All right.
All right, you want to hear some of what I got here before we get into
Let's
it?
hear what you got. Let's hear what you got on side. Are we doing
All right.
sidekicks and henchmen or just sidekicks? Did
Well,
we decide?
I guess let me read this. I guess that'll play into what we'll say then.
All right.
All right, so a lot of this I pulled from Wikipedia.
There you go.
A sidekick is defined as a person's assistant or a close associate, especially one who has less authority than that person. That's the definition that I pulled from it. But a better way to talk about it is to say that it's other than giving the hero someone to talk to, a sidekick's role can provide one or more of the following. They could be a comic relief, a character for whom the audience can relate to. They can provide a different set of knowledge or skill that the hero does not have. They can be an emotional connection, or they can appear dumb to make the hero look smarter.
Always to make the hero more the hero.
Yes. And oddly enough, most sidekicks are the same gender. If not, then they're referred to as a partner or a companion. If you think of like
Doctor Who.
yeah, exactly. It's Doctor Who, or probably have to get into this one next about Joker or Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But that goes into saying sidekicks are mostly reserved for the good guys, the villains. They had lackeys or henchmen.
Yeah. There's lackeys or henchmen. Because rarely did a villain, do they need someone to help them along? They've got their own stuff to work out.
And some sidekicks are more attractive or physically capable than the hero. Like Chewbacca to Han.
Chewbacca, yes, Chewbacca's off the table for this one, right?
Yeah, I still think Chewbacca's more of an equal. I know he's a sidekick, but it's just, to me, he's just like they're partners in a weird way to me. They're like they're a set. They're one body with two, each one's an arm.
I think the movie Solo defined that a little more.
Yeah.
It showed us that Chewbacca was more of an equal to Han than the movies led on. So we'll step away from Chewbacca this episode.
And just to give a little quick rundown for a few famous ones, just so we're all on the same page. Mr. Spock to Kirk. Whoa! You just said Chewbacca and Han were equals, and then called Spock and Kirk not equals. So he really wasn't his sidekick as much as Kirk just outranked him. So Spock just kind of had to go along and had to do what his captain said. Gabriel to Xena. And
Robin to Batman.
Robin was the first teenage sidekick.
Oh.
He was the very first one to come upon the comic book scene. And then I went down this rabbit hole on that, which was awesome. And I found this great character, this sidekick I had never known existed. In the 1930s, there was this comic called Mr. America.
Yeah, of course. Mr. America.
Mr. America's sidekick was a guy called Fat Man. And I had to look this guy up. Fat Man's outfit consisted of a bucket that he wore on his head, red gym clothes, and what appeared to be a tablecloth that is worn like a cape. He wielded a broom against the forces of evil. I love this guy, man. And Mr. America, weirdly enough, he had a flying carpet. You would think it would be a Ford.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Mr. America and all.
It's like,
it's the Depression, it's the 30s. They can't afford a car.
But Fat Man. And then when I looked it up, there was another one that came after that. And then I think, of course, what's his name?
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith did Fat Man. But there was one in the 30s.
I've got this mental image of this guy, and I swear to God, I've seen Fat Man somewhere before with the bucket on the head.
Yes, red gym clothes and a cape, and he wields a broom because he's sweeping up evil. I mean, I need to learn more about this guy, but then I realized I was going down roads and looking at
truly the golden age of comics.
I was like, this guy's awesome, man. I was like, where is this guy today?
And there were a lot of sidekicks in the 30s, the original golden age of comics. They DC, whatever DC was back then. Batman seemed to do that. Aquaman had one, Flash had one. There was a lot of that. Superman had Superboy, and there seemed to be a lot of that. And it seems like Robin stuck with Batman. That actually was the only one that stuck over the years because the first is always the best.
Well, he's the first teenage. Yeah,
Oh.
so he was he wasn't the first Sidekick. He was just the first teenage.
Before superheroes just started dragging children into the fight.
Yeah, and that led to another thing. But this was something I ran across when I was reading about Batman and Robin. From what I read in 1954, this was something that was taken seriously at the time. A book called The Seduction of Innocence came out, and it was written by some psychologist named Frederick Wertham. And this book that he wrote tried to make a connection that comics had a negative influence on the children, and there was a hidden Freudian issue that a sidekick's participation in violent encounters with the hero hid a sexual subtext.
These people have too much free time.
It's because
it's just a comic.
I think exactly. I was like, because that old people in the 50s had to make everything about sex and the devil and
communism, and that's why they had the standards. They had the little stamp on every comic book.
They just secretly thought the devil was cool.
The devil's always cooler. The devil's always going to be cooler. Went down to Georgia. He won that battle. That's a whole thing for another podcast, but we all know who played the better song. Dr. Watson. Dr. Watson's one of the good sidekicks of history.
Yeah.
I think. What else we got? Tonto, and even Fred and Barney from the Flintstones. Barney was a pretty decent sidekick. So historically, these sidekicks go. There's some pretty famous ones, and they always seem to help pull the story through and find a resolution. It's always the sidekick that finds the magic wand, and the hero wields it and saves the day. But the sidekicks are needed to move the story along.
It's like, if you think about it, back in the 30s and the 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way up until today, like the evolution of it's been kind of interesting from what I've noticed, like, because it's gone from being one person to one sidekick. But now it seems like in a lot of things today, it's just like everybody is in a team. But you can't tell like who's a sidekick to who. I guess it's just depending on what the story needs. Yeah, what the story or what the mission is at the time. You know what I mean? Then you have like Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. Yeah,
Kitty Pryde's always in that particular storyline. Kitty Pryde obviously is going to take the backseat to Wolverine, the more popular character. Mm-hmm. Even up into the Avengers movies. You've got the big three in the Avengers. You've got Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, and everybody else realistically on that team is just helping those guys move the story along. I mean, as much as we like all the Marvel movies, everybody else is just a tertiary character. They're just there to help the big three beat Thanos, because that's what it came down to in the end. Unless you're Scarlet Witch, and the Scarlet Witch could have done it, but that's a whole story. I think like in the 1980s, sidekicks started becoming more comedic. They went from being this leftover trope from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and into the 1980s, they became more just kind of comedic, really not necessary, but let's give the superhero more, or let's give the hero more value, and we can use this sidekick as our comedic entity in the story.
Yeah, I was arguing some of my favorite sidekicks with someone, and it's weird, like pushback on it, but Short Round.
Yeah, Short Round,
and the same actor played him in Goonies. Data.
Yep,
both of them. Short Round and Data were two of my favorites growing up.
I love Short Round.
I wanted to be Data. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I loved his. Well, I liked all his. I still try to make those inventions.
Yeah,
I would love to have a jacket that opened up and
belt shoots a suction cup out of it. And I can fly. Yeah.
I was arguing with someone about that. Like, I go Short Round. I go, I liked him, and bringing up all this like stereotypes and and I was like, you could debate that, whether Short Round is a racist character, or I'm a middle-aged white guy. I don't feel qualified to make that determination.
Yeah, in the 80s, it was I know there's a whole backstory with Short Round and all this other stuff. I thought he was a great character. I thought he was an awesome character. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of Asian American or Asian representation in films and Hollywood films in the 1980s, and
nobody was like making fun of him in that.
No,
like, that's Short the Round, thing. It's like
Short Round was Johnny on the spot. He was there to help Indy out do everything.
I didn't like the dinner scene in Temple of Doom. I was like, that's bad.
It's a little racist.
But I don't know. That's a discussion for someone else's podcast. I don't like it.
Yeah, we're just talking about sidekicks, man. We don't need to get all political about this.
But anyway, I thought he was awesome. I wanted to be him. I thought he was cool. I was like, how cool is that to be with Indiana Jones going on this adventure? If he went to Goonies route, I think Data was the coolest one out of that whole group, just because of his.
But I don't think Data was so much of a sidekick. I think the Goonies as a collective, they were the group, and everyone had their strong points. And
that's kind of what I was saying, like earlier, like how like the sidekick thing has kind of evolved to that.
Yeah.
It's like evolved to a big group, and
Sloth would have been the sidekick.
There's really not sidekicks like Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
I don't really see that as much, unless I'm just not looking at the things I watch. I'm not seeing that as much.
Yeah. Well, I think now, starting in the 80s, like when these sidekicks were more comedic value, everybody had a strong point, everybody had a strong suit, and they did one thing like the Goonies. Everybody had their speciality, and that trope has carried over in film and TV up through the recent Clone Wars, Bad Batch thing. Everybody's got their one niche thing that they do really well. There's really no need, because we like big ensemble movies. We like these big casts where everybody can do something cool. So Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars, all that. Everybody's got the special. There's no need for sidekicks anymore. Nobody cares about R2D2s and C3POs anymore. Their loss.
I like R2.
He's the savior of the galaxy. Without him, there's nothing. Without R2, nothing progresses.
He went to sleep for a long time and then woke up at the right moment.
That's right. He could have kicked the shit out of Boba Fett. Bucky, obviously Bucky comes to mind when you talk about sidekicks in comics. We went through our list of TVs, movies, animation, and video games, and there were so many, and I found myself making lists of sidekicks that I liked over the years in different genres and stuff like that. And then I was like, no, I have to narrow this down. And I found out one of my favorite sidekicks actually isn't a sidekick. He was a henchman. Bob from the Batman movie, the Michael Keaton Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was going through this list, and I was like, who did I really like? Who did I not like? And I was like, oh man, Bob from Batman. I really liked him, but he wasn't so much of a sidekick as he was a henchman. So I had to cross him off my list, and I was like, all right, okay, Bob, we'll do that. That's like a Harley Quinn.
Pinky and
that's a henchman. Yeah, it's on
Pinky.
my list.
Like I had that on there. I was like Pinky. I was like, oh man.
We get into stuff like where the lines blur a little bit of henchmen and sidekicks.
There's that exceptions.
Like in Harry Potter, you've got Bellatrix Lestrange. She's Voldemort's lots of stuff. She'll do anything for the guy. She is the sidekick. She's loyal to Voldemort. She never wavers.
She was even to her sister. She was just
terrible.
Yeah,
and if you read into it, then she has Voldemort's kid, and then there's all this other stuff. And she's a terrible person, but she's 100% loyal, as a sidekick should be, to Voldemort, So.
The worst, I think, henchman ever that I can't stand, Starscream. From
Starscream was the perfect henchman. Perfect. And we could say this. Oh, it's because he's terrible that he's so good. He's
constantly trying to screw over his boss.
Exactly. And as the henchman, you don't, nobody wants to be people want to be a sidekick. Nobody wants to be a henchman. If you're that bad and that evil, you want that top spot. And Starscream is the worst. His voice is annoying. He has bad ideas. He gets beat up all the time. I think he dies like several times.
And he's willing to turn his boss over in a heartbeat.
At the drop of a hat.
He even went back to Cybertron, created another army, came back, and failed.
Perfect henchman. Perfect henchman. Because he's not smart enough to be the big bad villain. So he's the perfect henchman. Because he'll do anything to get ahead and claw. He's great. He's fantastic. I love Starscream.
Would Cobra Commander be a henchman to Serpentor?
Serpentor? No, but that's a whole nother conversation I can have about something else, because Serpentor was created by Dr. Milo Mindbender and to circumvent Cobra Commander, and he eventually became leader, but then the Freds got involved, and I don't think Cobra Commander. I think Cobra Commander is the ruler of Cobra. That's the thing, and then Cobra Law comes in and apparently turns Cobra Commander into a snake. Cobra la, and it's just a whole G.I. Joe got fucked in the late 80s. So we'll skip that. What about Dwight? Dwight Schrute. Is he a sidekick to Michael? Maybe even to Jim sometimes. Is he the sidekick of Dunder Mifflin? Could he be?
I would say that.
Could he be Michael's henchman as well?
I would say he's Michael's henchman, but he's the sidekick to Dunder Mifflin. I like that.
Yeah. Because he's willing to do anything for Michael, but he thinks he could do the job better.
Yeah, so he's essentially Starscream.
Yeah, you heard it here first, kids. Dwight Schrute is Starscream. That's we'll get t-shirts made. That's going to be the next big thing. I was thinking about him because him and Jim go out and they partner up a lot, but you always can see that Jim definitely takes the lead on a lot of things in the Scranton world of paper.
Like if Robin was like fighting Harley Quinn, or
something like that,
and Dunder Mifflin's is their Batman, Joker, if you will.
Sure. Staples could be the Joker, I guess. Yeah, the big bad. What about? I kept coming back to this one. Willow and Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Good sidekicks.
Willow,
definitely.
Yeah, Xander. I don't know.
Xander eventually, I think, he had puppy dog eyes for all the girls and found his own with Anya. But definitely Willow. I think Willow would definitely be a good sidekick.
Yeah,
a lot of qualities. Doesn't want to overshadow. Got her own little arc in the show for a little while, which seemed to be a trope in the 80s and 90s, where the sidekicks would eventually they'd get their own episodes of their own storylines for a while. We started getting backstories in the 80s and 90s of these sidekicks. They became bigger parts of the stories than just get my gym bag, Jim boy, fat man, whatever his name was. Bring the bucket. No, you wanted to know more about these sidekicks. You're like, well, why are these people so loyal to these heroes? What's their personality traits? Why are they doing this? Why are they a part of it? What about Bumblebee from Transformers?
Bumblebee seemed to me like the little kid of the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
not really a sidekick.
Not really a sidekick. He's just kind of like he's the kid. They always say, "You stay back here. I'm going to go and fight." But I'm going to show up anyway in the last minute and save everything. So
here's one I want your thoughts on, and you're gonna have to dig deep. Yeah, you're gonna like this one. What about Morty from Rick and Morty? How do you feel about that?
I like it. I like it. I laugh every time I watch a Rick and Morty show. I laugh. I know you don't like it, but I just oh god, it cracks me up. I would say Morty is a sidekick, like a forced sidekick. Like he just his grandpa just shows up,
indentured servitude,
and just makes him come along. And he doesn't want to go, but he knows if he doesn't go, he's going to miss out on something cool. And so he just goes anyway.
Like the pickle. He's a pickle. Get it?
I guess.
Stupid fucking pickle. I hate that show. So I think one of the most difficult things that I had a time with was finding video game sidekicks. Obviously, Luigi, he's the one that pops up first. You think of video game sidekicks, I think of Luigi. It's never quite as cool as Mario. They gave him his own game, Luigi's Mansion, for a little while, and nobody ever wanted to be Luigi in any of the games. You're always like, fucking second player Luigi.
Well, I'm trying to think, like, because most of the games I play, they'll force you to have a sidekick sometimes, walk with you, and that drives me up the wall. I think the character is Ashley Graham, I think, and it's from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
And I love that game. That game is up there in my top 10 of favorite video games. But I cannot stand when you finally get her trapped with you. It's the only way I can put it, because she's just constantly running and standing in front of the rifle. You know what I mean? You're just like, come on, just run.
Walks too slow.
Oh, yeah.
If you run, they get left behind.
Yeah, they get left behind. She goes, Leon! And just screaming at you. And you're just like, just go. Just go. I've gotten to the point where if I ever revisit that game and I play it, I always put her in the armor, because then I don't have to worry about her.
Yeah.
I don't care if anybody
she'll
attacks
do her own thing. Yeah.
She just runs off and you hear clank, 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 clank. And, she's fine. She's over there. I'm going to solve this puzzle.
Favorite games of all time. Navi from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah,
the little. I guess that's kind of a sidekick.
She's a guide. I think she's a guide.
She shows up to help you. And Wallace from Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit. Yes, I've only seen a couple. I've never really followed that big time, but I know what it is. I've seen it. I think the animation's cool.
The dog, the dog's the smart one.
Yeah,
and then the other guy just likes cheese. I'm trying to think some more.
Like Calvin and Hobbes.
Man, I didn't even think about that. Would Hobbes be a sidekick or like a life partner? Because that's like saying Snoopy would be Charlie Brown's sidekick. Woodstock is Snoopy's. I don't know, Calvin.
Charlie Brown is just the guy that feeds him.
Calvin and Hobbes. I didn't even think about that one. That's Hobbes is Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's his own sidekick.
Yeah. We got a whole new thing. He's his own sidekick. He's the guy beside the guy. That's a good one, man. I didn't even think about that one. Braun from Game of Thrones, Jaime Lannister's swordsman guy.
Oh yeah, he's a good one.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's a good sidekick.
Loyal sidekick. He had plenty of chances to turn on the guy and stuck with him through thick and thin. I liked him.
Even though he was loyal to the coin, He loved the money.
He's loyal to the coin,
but he's still there's something about like he
had that character development.
Yeah,
he'd go where the money was.
He knew he was going to do it. He was going to help him out, but he just wanted to get as much out of him as he possibly could up front.
Yeah, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
I like that guy. He was a fun character.
Like Arthur from The Tick.
Oh yeah,
Arthur was great. Arthur was awesome. Tick cartoon, not the TV show.
It was great. I still quote that. There's lines I say from that all the time. And my favorite one is when Chairhead, I think, was going to blow up the earth, and
Chairhead Chippendale,
and he goes, you can't blow up the earth. That's where I keep my stuff. Yeah. And I was like, so genius.
Yes. I thought of one, and I wasn't sure about it. It's a movie from the point of view of the sidekick. Monsters, Inc. Mike Wazowski was kind of Sully's sidekick. Yes? No?
I can't. Well, I want to be honest. I've never seen it.
God damn it.
Oh, man.
Still thinking of Fat Man.
Fat Man's awesome, dude. I mean, seriously, like, I don't know. He could only have been in like 1 or 2 issues or whatnot. I didn't really dive that much into it. As soon as I saw the name, I immediately was like, new page, got to find what this guy looks like when they were describing him. And I was like, holy kid, why is there nothing dedicated to this guy? And like, I'm sure there probably is. I didn't dive that far into it. I just wanted to see what he looked like. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, I could do that.
I think you should do that.
I want to do that.
I'll do Chairhead.
No, I love the fact that like I don't even know what Mr. America looks like. I didn't care. I was just
doesn't even matter at this point.
It's like Fat Man. I was like, gotta see this.
I found Fat Man.
Yeah, isn't he great?
He's awesome.
Bucket, broom, and
shorts. Yeah, dude, that's an easy costume.
He's great.
I don't give a shit about Mr. America.
Mr. America
apparently has a bullwhip.
Which one?
Mr. America.
It's got a bullwhip and a flying carpet. Let's get back to
all right. Yeah.
So I guess we talked a lot about the sidekicks. So
sidekicks.
We talked a lot about like we learned that the first teenage was Batman Robin. Apparently there was an issue with
Satan.
Yeah, Satan with old people and freaking out about Batman doing Robin up the butt or something.
Oh, come on, man. There's no need.
There's some weird. Well, that's what they probably were thinking.
That's what they were thinking. Nobody would say it, but that's what they were thinking.
And then the kids were just reading it, going, "Oh, cool! Yeah. I could be partner to Batman because I can't."
Yeah,
be Batman,
man, I'm a kid. I can kick ass.
And the parents are going, "No, what are you doing? Fuck off, dude."
Yeah, that rich dude's trying to have sex with that boy.
Exactly.
No, they just want to fight.
Yeah, they just want to go out and fight crime.
It's nothing like that. They just want to fight.
Isn't this a good thing? They're trying to fight crime. Yeah. I mean, why do you have to look into everything that hard? Like.
All right. Well, I think, sidekicks over the years, they definitely evolved quite a bit, like the originals we talked about and how they came into their own. They had that little bit of comedic relief, late 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. And then from the 90s, the sidekick, quote unquote, blossomed into their own and really got their own spin-off movies, spin-off books, comics, TV shows, all that. Even the Lone Gunman from the old X-Files, they got a short-lived TV show. People wanted to know more about why these guys were doing what they're doing, and I think that's a lot. I think that's cool. I think that it's cool that that's what it blossomed into.
Yes, definitely. And I will have to say that I may have changed my mind a little bit on Starscream, even though I couldn't stand him very much. The more I think about it, I'm like, Megatron. I know he kind of sucks for the right reasons. I don't know.
That's the best way to put it. He sucks for the right reasons. Yeah, he's willing to cut his boss's ankles to be the boss, even though he would never in a million years be qualified for the job. So who, if you had to put your clown down on a sidekick, who do you have as the best sidekick?
Shit.
No Chewbacca. Chewbacca doesn't count. Can't say Chewbacca.
Yeah. Well, we've gone through so many now.
Yeah.
I would say that my clowns down would be, I would want to know more about Fat Man.
You can do that.
I'm going to.
Power of the internet.
I'm going to. When I was reading all this before we got on here, like I was just like, oh god, I gotta look this guy up some more, man. This is insane. Just him spinning a broom, carrying a pistol with a bucket on his head. I mean, how was that feasible in that comic in that time period? Like it's what?
I think there might be some fan fiction in your future. I think you're going down that road.
Does he ride a horse?
Mr. America took the bucket off of Fat Man's head. Nope.
No.
Back. back, escape.
I did like Short Round.
He's great. He's fantastic.
Because, like I was saying, when I was a kid at the time, I was like, I thought it was super cool. You know, even his size wasn't holding him back. He was trying to be as good as he could be to impress Indy, but at the same time, he's actually being useful. Like the only thing he messed up on was when he did what he was told, and he backed up against the wall and he hit the trigger.
He did his job. He was Short Round. He was a great sidekick.
He was trying to stay out of the way, and he was doing his thing. He was brave. When I was an 11-year-old kid seeing that, I was just like, oh man, this is pretty cool. That
shows you that you could fill those shoes. You could be Short Round, and you could help Indiana Jones in his adventures, and that could be you up on the screen, living that.
And they should have brought him back for the fourth one.
That's
About yourself. So which one's
two? Actually, two we didn't really discuss at all. I would have to say Ron and Hermione. I think I think they're great sidekicks. Their stories don't overshadow our hero. They both have gifts, I guess. They both have personality quirks that help not only the main character, but they help move the story along. Nothing they do overshadows the A story. They have their own B and C stories, and nothing they do overshadows what the main character and the main villain are doing. I thought about that, and I was like, those are solid sidekicks.
And you know what else? You said that all of a sudden I was starting to categorize them, that like he was the leader, she was the brains, but Ron really was some beefy guy. He was
the everyman. He was the everyman.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He didn't, he wasn't going to come and punch the monster in the face.
Yeah.
But he was going to encourage his friend to do so. He's like, you're the guy, Harry. I'm just a normal guy that happens to be your best friend and likes to eat chocolate. That's
play good chess. He did.
Yeah, and play good chess. He helped move the story along without saying,
overshadowing.
Oh, look, I'm better than Harry Potter. Yeah. You never would have done it without me. In fact, he actually gets beat up in the chess game, and Harry has to continue on. He knows he has to sacrifice himself for the main character. I think both of them collectively have got to be my top sidekicks. Always, Willow and Xander. I like them. I do. But I think Ron and Hermione, they went out. I think they're solid sidekicks. I think they are quite possibly the best cinematic sidekicks of modern day movies. That's my clown being down. That's my opinion.
I'm gonna have to completely agree with that. So what do you think about bidets?
Oh fuck, man, this is squishy. They're just fucking get your ass clean, man. They're fantastic.
I haven't used one. I just keep hearing about them.
And you're not living that good clean asshole life then. You get yourself you spend all this time on Amazon, you can't stop by the bidets. You can get one for you think we're wrong, or you think our clown should not have been down, let us know why. Let us know why we're wrong, or you think we're wrong, because remember, these are our opinions.
That's right.
I'm a pickle.